We got 1G, take 1, Christine Lesson, soft sticks.
Hey, so I'm here to tell you about written pitches. Usually you want to have a 2-page document, and there's, while you can have some liberties with what you want to present, there's a few key components you want to always include in your pitch. So first, we're going to start with our title. Now, this is going to be the first eye-catching thing that an executive sees, so you want to make sure you have a good one. The next one would be your format and genre. So in terms of that, you don't want to just write, oh, this is a comedy or this is a drama. Let's try to be as specific as possible. So say, for example, you have a heartfelt family comedy with hijinks. Now, what does that make you think of? Maybe you'd think of Mrs. Doubtfire. Or if you kind of had a dystopian cyberpunk sci-fi feature, you would think of The Matrix. So if you can be as specific as possible, that's going to automatically give the executive a vibe and tone that you're going for. The other one is format. Now, obviously, if you have a feature, that's all you'd list, but for TV, what kind of TV show are we watching? Are we watching a 1 hour or are we watching a half hour? Is it serialized or episodic? Is it multicam or single cam? And you even want to consider what type of platform it's going to be on. So is it network, cable, or premium cable? These are all things that the executive can quickly see at the top of your written pitch that's going to indicate to them what kind of project you're trying to sell. So next we want to take into account your log line, of course, and then even moving into comps. So you don't want to pick 2 movies that sound identical to one another, otherwise we're not really sure what's the difference you're bringing to the pot. So just try to think of 2 comps that might be something interesting, whether it's like Gone Girl meets Rosemary's Baby. Instantly you're like, what kind of film is this going to be? Versus if you just had Gone Girl meets Seven, we already know it's going to be, kind of a darker thriller. And next you would really want to bring the perspective of about me. So why are you the specific person who should tell this story? Now, of course, the obvious answer is I thought of the idea. But what about the idea connects to you? So whether it's, hey, I want to tell a movie about motherhood. What about motherhood though? If you want to bring this perspective of like, hey, I felt like my body was changing, I had no control over my hormones, so that's why I wrote a body horror in the vein of David Cronenberg, that's going to be something that I see, oh, she has an interesting take on that. The next section, you want to include your characters. Now, even if you have a huge ensemble, you should really limit it to 6 just so an executive isn't confused and overwhelmed with the amount of people and it's hard to track their emotional arcs. So try to pick at least 2, but maximum 6 that aren't going to overwhelm the executives, but they'll see how each person plays into the plot and what their relationship and dynamics are with one another. And you also want to make sure you give some sort of parenthetical introduction. So, is this like a smug John Bernthal type? Is this going to be a wild child Jack Black? That'll give the executive an idea of what kind of actors you're looking for and maybe also who's like within budget. And lastly, you're gonna have your synopsis and overview. Now for your feature, you're obviously gonna go through the entire plot of the movie. You wanna go through your act 1, act 2, act 3. But in terms of a TV show, we wanna first start on the pilot so we see what's that first episode that's gonna be our hook into buying this project. And then from there, we wanna see how can this be sustained. A lot of times I see written pitches where an executive wonders, awesome idea, but why should I spend so much money on making this a TV series versus just a 2-hour movie I can wrap up? So make sure you show how your project has longevity and how it can be sustained across several seasons. So I hope you find this helpful for all your written pitches.